Nice to have you along. It's Sheryl Plouffe and Jacqueline Woodall in with you. How do you know spring is actually here? Well, for golfers, they know it's here. They're out on the turf. Perfect playoff weather, and we're talking about hockey this time, and windy and dry dangers. Of course, a major dust storm in Fresno, California. You may have seen some video on the network about that.
When we look at the temperatures through Tuesday, still nice warmth. Look at southern Ontario, 17, the same temperature, coincidentally, for Thunder Bay, and even Timmins sitting at 12. So yeah, golf weather. It's time to start hitting the links, and Kevin Yard has done just that.
And the third one was not. Sorry, Kev. All right, we tease Kev, right? That's all good.
We always do.
Let's take a look at our temperatures. It's golf weather for sure. Today into tomorrow, but your daytime high tomorrow, only about -5.
Notice what happens here by the end of the weekend. We start to see those blues returning to some portions of the Maritimes. There are some scattered flurries in the forecast once again in the east. So we're not done with the winter weather quite yet.
No, not quite. That's exactly right. Also, hockey playoff time is going on right now. So if you are a Vancouver fan, well, you've got the Flames coming your way. So 10 degrees in Vancouver this evening. And then what about Montreal? They're playing Ottawa?
Yeah, Ottawa's in Montreal.
Ottawa's in Montreal,
yes.
7 degrees, clear conditions, beautiful sunset.
That's why we see some of the warmest air in that part of the country.
Yeah, you had said that earlier today to me. You're right. It's about 23 degrees, all courtesy of that southerly flow. We have some strong winds on the backside of the low as well, but you can see anywhere from about 10 to 20 kilometers an hour. That trough shouldn't really bring much in the way of precipitation. It's just going to be seasonal, and there's our jet stream pattern looking ahead to Thursday. So pretty calm weather right across the prairies. Watching a new developing low, though, down into Ontario that we'll keep a close eye on.
Been some concern over the last couple of days for the areas around St. John or St. John River and high river levels. River Watch 2015, of course, in full effect. However, from a weather perspective, we're actually looking at some pretty decent conditions. Yes, the melt is underway, but I think for the most part it's been fairly gradual. But the winds are another concern with this low pressure system as it makes its way through. The winds are going to shift direction in St. John's so that we have mild winds, but we're going to be seeing that switching to a more northerly direction and much, much colder heading into tomorrow. Looking at the winds picking up in strength offshore too. Back into southern Ontario, some fair weather, mild conditions, not as warm as it was to start the week, but still very impressive. High pressure, calm conditions, lighter winds for sure. Northern Ontario, even up into the teens. Now, Winnipeg, on the other hand, yes, it does come at a price. Those are southerly winds that help to bring up our temperatures. So we're looking actually here at some fairly strong wind gusts, but that southerly flow helps to keep our temperatures up. Tomorrow, it's still not going to be, it's not going to be quite as warm nor windy, but we will see the temperatures dropping more so into the mid-teens, closer to really where we should be this time of year. Saskatchewan and Alberta, the winds picking up a little bit heading into late day Thursday. We're talking 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, not the windiest day for certain, but looking actually at some increased winds picking up. Through Thursday in the morning, being across the prairies is very isolated in nature and more so in the central and northern portions as that storm track or that low pressure track takes us to the north. So we can actually see that trailing front here. But Edmonton, 40% chance of isolated showers tomorrow. And for the most part here in BC, we're seeing a break in weather, even down to the south and west, seeing the rainfall. The temperatures for Thursday, we can see that. We'll look at our legend here. We're up into the teens for the most part, with the exception of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then back into the west. This hour at the Weather Network, winter is returning to Newfoundland. Yes, I kid you not. And are you ready for Earth Action Week? We've got special programming here at the Weather Network that is going to talk about all things green and windy day in the west. And we've seen actually the return, actually we're going to see the return of some winter weather in eastern Canada. But this is a look at how much snow, Jacqueline, is on the ground.
Yeah, but Beverly Quinlan, a regular contributor here at the Weather Network, thank you. Beautiful shot.
So these are the temperature contrasts that we're seeing. We have been seeing some nice mild air in central Canada, western Canada. We're going to get cool again here across Newfoundland, and then it's really oscillating, I find, in the Maritimes, but that by the end of the weekend we'll have cool enough air to possibly see some more scattered flurries.
Yeah, this is not the kind of 7-day forecast that you really like to see this time of year. Glorious weather by any stretch.
Earth Action Week is coming up next week. We've got a great initiative here at the Weather Network programming-wise, but here's Kelly with more from Peterborough. Thanks so much, Kelly. Michelle, we've got wind warnings still in place across southern Manitoba. The warm air warmest air in the country here, but it's coming at a price with some strong southerly winds.
That's right. So may even see some branches blowing around, or maybe a little bit of wind damage, not out of the question. We could see winds up at 90 kilometers an hour. But I don't know about you. If a wind's coming from the south, I'm still in a good mood.
I'm okay with it.
Right? 23 degrees. Different than a cold northwesterly wind. So as we look ahead to tomorrow, we have partly cloudy conditions. The rain will start to taper off on the west coast. Seasonal as our jet stream takes on a bit more of a zonal, more west to east flow. Watching this system, though, will be the first of many messy systems to hit the East Coast.
From a weather perspective, we have some strong winds, but not necessarily down into Vancouver, but more so on the central and north coast regions. With that, we've seen some very strong easterly and southerly gusts today in the Hecate Strait. When we look further down, though, into southwestern BC, we're free from weather for the most part, although Vancouver, some isolated showers are coming to end the work week. When we look at the rainfall forecast through Thursday, again, it's Tofino's going to be raining, but more so on the North Island and up along the north and central coast. We've had some really strong winds in southern Manitoba today, and with that southerly wind, it's also keeping the temperatures up significantly. We're talking values here in the low to mid-20s in terms of temperature, and strong winds will persist. Winnipeg this afternoon, 23, but notice that we don't have any weather to speak of. We've got high pressure across the prairies. Look at that low pressure system. This is the warm section, and then back on the other side, it's cooler. I wouldn't say it's cold necessarily, but it's cooler, and the winds are certainly strongest near the center of low pressure itself. Let's go to Toronto at Pearson. Always fun to watch, but notice the sky conditions. Some cloud cover out there. We haven't seen much in the way of weather because of this ridge of high pressure. However, we will see some showers arriving with our low pressure system later in the week. And also of note is the potential for some scattered flurries still at the end of this weekend for the Maritimes and also for Newfoundland, getting some flurries as soon as tomorrow.